Hello everyone, Just Podcast TV is here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified on new content.
Episode 245. I can only think about it. Zach wanted to buy a car, but these days were really not suitable for him. On the 5th day of the new year, there were actually many places that were not open. Thinking that this place was also not full of cars, he brought Zanya, who was halfway traveling and buying a car, to the capital. They played in the provincial capital for 3 days, and on the 8th of the first month, the shops of all the businessmen, including car dealerships, also opened. Zanya finally chose a Mercedes-Benz GLK 300. In Zach's opinion, this car was quite indeed compatible with her. After all, Zanya was a thin and weak girl. With her temperament matched with this car, it was pretty good. He successfully helped Zanya buy the car, but Zach did not gain anything after wandering around. He originally wanted to buy a random means of transportation. However, when he thought about what Larry had said about him being the company's name and signboard, he had to pay attention to his image. This was why this car was hard to buy. It was too expensive to show off, and people who liked it were too flamboyant. In short, not many people liked it. It was only at the QZ exhibition hall that Zach finally found a suitable car for himself. The QZ L5. This car could show his identity, but it wouldn't make him look too flashy. However, it was not easy to buy this car. The price of $5 or $6 million was not a problem, but there were many additional conditions that the sales lady introduced to Zach. Sir, if you want to buy this high-end luxury unique temperament QZ L5, the first thing you need to do is to pay $1 million in advance, and then wait for half a year before you get the custom-made car. It took half a year to wait, which was normal. After all, it was handmade. Many luxury cars were like this. One had to pay first, then wait, and then pay later. This was understandable. However, there were too many rules to buy this car. Then, the sales lady introduced it again. First step, you have to go to the official website to register your information. Phone number and email first. Of course, I can also help you register here. In 2 days, there will be professionals contacting you, and they will review your personal information and purchase the model of your car. However, the review process is quite strict, including your personal information, social status, economic strength, standpoint, and whether or not there is a special background. The so-called special background naturally refers to the criminal record, old hoodlums, and other undesirable information. If there is any negative record, then don't even think about buying this car. Even if you have money, you can't buy it. However, looking at things from two sides, even if you had money, you wouldn't be able to buy this car, but you would be able to get rid of the negative records. If the audit passes smoothly, you can wait for around 10 days before you can smoothly enter the next procedure. That is, what I just told you, an advance of $1 million for the car. After that, I will also invite you to participate in some private custom-made services. If you have any requests, feel free to state them. The functions and configuration of the car are completely in accordance with your request. Therefore, although it is a bit complicated, it can also be said that your car will be unique. Next, we will wait for half a year. The company will hold a car handing ceremony for you. It is said that it is like going on stage to receive an award. However, I have never participated before, so I can't explain the specific situation to you. After the sales lady finished speaking, Zanya softly muttered, "It is too troublesome to buy a car." The sales lady smiled politely. After all, it is a unique model, so I hope you understand. If you don't understand, then don't buy it. If you have the money, just buy it for $10 million. But if you want to buy this QZL5, you must understand. Even if you don't understand, you must understand. It was very awesome, but Zach also liked this kind of awesome dominance. If it was mass-produced goods, he wouldn't even like it. Help me register. Zach's words stunned the sales lady. She originally thought that the other party was just asking. It was the new year, and with good professional qualities, that was why she would seriously explain. But she didn't think that Zach would really buy this car, and that he would be so straightforward. However, after being stunned for a while, she did not feel any excitement. After all, it was just registration. If she wanted to get a sales commission, she had to at least wait until the other party paid the deposit of $1 million. So she still maintained polite manners and did not hold any hope to bring Zach over to help register and upload the information. After registering the information, Zach and Zanya prepared to leave. The sales lady sent them out of the store out of professional courtesy. However, just as they left the store, Zach received a call from an unknown number. It was the headquarters of the QZ car. It was probably because the new year had just begun and Zach was the first customer. That was why the call came so quickly. On the phone, the other party asked about Zach's work unit and social status in detail. Zach replied, "Chairman of Dream Group, Chairman of Dream Film and Television Group, and the total assets of the company under my name, I'm not too sure about the details, but there should be at least $10 billion. As Zach made the call, the sales lady was stunned. She felt that Zach was not bragging. Was he? Episode 246. Moved. The sales lady checked online. Oh my god, it really is. He is now a celebrity on the internet, Rich. He is still young. He was called the National New Boyfriend by countless female netizens on the internet. He really is that rich. The sales lady was shocked. She was secretly glad that she had maintained a good attitude just now. Otherwise, she would have been complained about by such a powerful figure. Then, she would have to bear the consequences. After answering the phone, Zach greeted the sales lady and left with Zanya. She looked at the distant Zach. The sales lady felt an indescribable feeling in her heart. Furthermore, she was even more envious of Zanya, who was beside Zach. If this was her boyfriend, how good would that be? However, she also understood that it was fine to just think about it. As for turning it into reality, try to dream at night. After returning from the capital, Zach had fun with Zanya for a few more days before starting to get busy. The Golden Award process had already begun. They did not care whether the new year would pass in the country or not. As the CEO of Dream Film and Television Company, Jessica was fully in charge of the film election and all other matters. She called and said, "There's some news that I don't know if it's good news or not. Old Watson has been named as the opening film." Old Watson was the name of the movie that Zach produced. He used the name of the movie Old Watson directly. It was simple and didn't have any entertainment value. Old Watson was named as the opening film. This should be good news, right? Zach felt that this should be the approval and affirmation of the Golden Award towards this movie. However, when he asked, Jessica explained, "It's good, but according to the tradition of the previous years, the opening film will basically be accompanied by the winning film. It should be like a mighty general. Jessica's explanation was really clear and easy to understand, to the point that Zach could not help but frown. "Don't tell me there is no hope at all," Jessica replied. "If we look at it according to the rules of the past, it is like this. But as to whether it was a coincidence or some other reason, this is unknown. In short, this matter is very awkward and not good either." Whether it was good or bad, Zach didn't dare to wait any longer. He could not let this matter continue like this. He had to go over and take a look. He hoped that he could save the future of this movie. Kate had returned. Larry and Lewis had also returned to the company. With someone in charge, Zach could naturally leave without worry. On the afternoon of the same day he received Jessica's call, Zach took a plane and prepared to leave. However, Zena, who originally agreed to follow him home on the same plane, actually used the excuse of going to the toilet to run away before boarding the plane. Soon, Susie called, indicating that Zena was already with her, and told Zach not to worry. This made Zach very speechless. This Zena was like a kite with a broken string when she went out, flying everywhere. But fortunately, with Susie's protection, Zach completely relaxed. After boarding the plane, Zach sat on the seat and tied his seatbelt. He wanted to rest and closed his eyes. But at this moment, someone patted his shoulder. "What a coincidence!" It was a very familiar female voice. Zach opened his eyes and saw that it was Jessica. Zach asked in surprise, "Aunt, when I asked you before, didn't you say you wouldn't go?" Jessica smiled and said, "At that time, I really didn't want to go. After all, I still have other things on hand, but I was really thinking about this movie. After all, it was the hard work of old Watson and Chester. If I don't go and take a look, I won't feel at ease. I thought that you had already decided on the tickets, so I didn't contact you. I decided to go online to take a look. I didn't expect that there would be an empty seat, so I came." Zach suddenly realized. So that's how it is. That's quite a coincidence. It was indeed a coincidence. Zach bought a plane ticket casually, but it didn't matter if it was a VIP cabin or an ordinary passenger cabin. He got on the plane just like that. Who would have thought that he would meet Jessica in a spacious ordinary passenger cabin, or even be a seat neighbor? The coincidence was indeed not easy. After chatting for a while about the idea of winning the award for this movie, Zach continued to close his eyes and rest. When he arrived overseas that night, the opening ceremony of the Golden Award had already begun. When Zach and Jessica entered the venue, the movie had just begun playing. At first, the viewing hall was filled with noisy voices and all kinds of chatter. This had nothing to do with the quality. This was caused by the distrust towards these kinds of movies. The situation was not formed in a day or two. It had been a long time since. However, it was different today. As the movie was played, the noise in the room gradually weakened, and finally, the whole place became silent. Even Zach, who had been paying attention to everything in the hall, was now paying full attention to the movie itself. No matter if it was old Watson's experience, Chester's dedication, or the love in the plot, all of them were attracted to the movie, especially when they saw old Watson, who was playing old Watson's role in the mental hospital, dancing and making a fool of himself in the mental hospital. The originally funny scene made many people tear up at this moment, because everyone understood the sorrow that Chester had shown them through this role as old Watson. They understood why old Watson had become stupid in the movie, and what was hidden behind that silly smile. The whole movie was 2 hours and 4 minutes long, with more than 3 minutes of playtime between the scenes. In the background, there was old Watson's original appearance, old Watson's silly performance in the hospital, and Chester coughing and bleeding during the filming. The doctor had treated him on set. This film is adapted to reality. The original form of old Watson's character in the film is now living in the hospital. He is crazy every day, but when he sees the pen and paper, he will subconsciously say, "I am a screenwriter. I want to write the best book." The actor of old Watson in this film, Mr. Chester, persevered with zero pay at the last moment of his life. He left us forever at 11:24 on the night of the last day of filming. With this film, we pay our respects to Old Watson in the film, to Old Watson outside the film, and to everyone else in the film. After the film ended, countless people shed tears. They could not imagine that the actors who were able to perform such a good film were actually sick and insisted on filming at the last moment of their lives. They even passed away on the night of the filming. Everyone stood up one after another, wildly applauding and clapping with thunderous applause. There were even more countless foreign film people who used their own language to loudly shout, "Paying respects to Watson and paying respects to the filmmakers." It was Old Watson who had moved everyone on the scene. It was also Old Watson who had moved everyone on the scene. In the broadcasting hall, the applause lasted for a long time. It was truly thunderous.